child, they be the diamond in my eye. So how do you throw diamonds away for something that burns your inside?
If I had a kid, I'd carve the name in my ribs. Every breath they take would feel like a gift. You don't cope by dipping out of their life. You don't numb their cries just to soften your nights. I've seen fathers vanish while still in the room. Seen mothers turn love into tactical moves. Kids in the crossfire learning too soon. That forever depends on the mood. You made that heart, you lit that spark. Now you dim it down cause your vice feels dark. You call that pain, you call that stress. That selfishness wrapped in a weak excuse dress. And kids remember, oh they remember. If I had a child, they'd be the diamond in my eye. Over every bottle, every buzz, every high. How you let that sparkle die? How you let addiction decide? If I had a child, they'd never compete with something that comes in a glass and leaves. My father loved the liquid more than his blood. Held it tighter when life got rough. At 12 I knew what addiction does. At 14 I learned I wasn't enough. He didn't slam doors, he faded slow. Sip by sip watching hope erode. I'll do better, floating in smoke, while I learned to swallow what I never spoke. When he died they said, it's the sickness, son. Like that sentence makes the damage undone. Yeah, I know addiction's a loaded gun, but I was the kid it was pointed at. If I had a child, they'd be the diamond in my eye. I'd break every bottle before I let them cry. How you let that sparkle fade? How you trade love for escape? If I had a child, they'd never have to ask why they came second to a glass. Child ain't leverage, a child ain't spite. Child ain't something you use in a fight. You don't get to build a home, then burn it down at night. But here's the part I don't say loud. Sometimes I'm scared, scared that anger lives in my bones. Scared that pain rewires what it owns. Scared that somewhere in my blood there's a shadow I don't fully know. What if the cracks he left in me split open when pressure grows? What if I turn into the thing I swore I'd never be? And then I remember, I know what it felt like to not be chosen, to sit in a house and feel invisible. I know what it costs when love loses to a bottle, and maybe that's the difference. Maybe the wound is the reason I wouldn't run. If I ever have a child, they won't compete, they won't question.